UFC 303 is over, and this is my reaction to the card. So we'll just go through some of the prelim stuff quickly. Vinicius Oliveira getting a good win over Ricky Simone. I didn't see that happening. I had Simone winning that one. Martin Bidet, don't quit your day job if you're taking Andre Arlovski to a split decision at this stage of his career. Talbot, get this guy a ranked bantamweight fight ASAP. Gene Silva beating Charles Jourdain, didn't see that happening. Andre Philly beating Cub Swanson. Not too bad. Joe Pyfer getting a much needed win over Marc-Andre Barriault after losing to Jack Hermanson. Called out Paul Craig. I don't like that matchup for Paul Craig. Now, this is what we want to talk about. The main card. Ian Gary versus MVP. Now, I said in my predictions video that this fight would be boring. And it absolutely was. This was not an entertaining fight whatsoever. Now, Ian Gary, in my opinion, is getting a lot of undeserved criticism after this fight against MVP. A lot of people online seem to have thought this was going to be this striking masterclass between both of them, but Ian Gary fought the way he had to fight to beat MVP. If Ian Gary had just chose to have a striking matchup with MVP, he would have lost. A lot of people, if they choose just to stand with MVP, will lose. Ian Gary showed his fight IQ in there, his well-roundedness in there, by knowing that he would have to go to the grappling in there. Ian Gary won this fight clearly 2-1 in my opinion. First round could have been a 10-8 round. I mean, he controlled MVP's back for the entirety of the round. Round 2, not much really happened. MVP landed some pretty decent combination strikes on the feet. Round 3 was anybody's round. And then Ian Gary was able to get on the MVP's back again. MVP showed there is a massive hole in this grappling game. He didn't even attempt to shake Ian Gary off. What's next for MVP? Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. What's next for Ian Gary? Colby Covington. Next up, surprisingly, Mayra Bueno Silva versus Macy Chasson. Probably one of the more entertaining fights on the card. Did get stopped due to a doctor stoppage due to a cut that Bueno Silva had suffered. It was pretty bad though, let's be honest. It was a deep cut. Yeah, it was grim. Blood everywhere. Kind of thought she maybe could have continued, but again, no hard feelings. The cut was brutal. Anthony Smith, Roman Dolidze. I actually don't even want to fucking talk about this fight because what was Anthony Smith doing? Like, how bad is Petrino? He lost to Anthony Smith in the first round. Like, what is going on? What is going on? It was actually that bad that even DC was getting pissed off with Anthony Smith in there. Roman Dolidze, though, now ranked in 2 separate divisions. If I'm him, though, I'm just staying in the middleweight division. I'm not jumping up to light heavyweight thinking I'm going to make a title run now just because I beat Anthony Smith. And the crazy thing is, Anthony Smith was the one saying stuff that like he thought he could, or talking about title fights with Pereira, etc. Retire. Someone give this guy a CT scan because I don't know if he's all there in the head. Next up, we have got a fight that literally was confirmed halfway through the card. That was Dan Ige versus Diego Lopez. Brian Ortega came down with a fever apparently. Dan Ige is the BMF of BMFs, in my opinion, to go in there against probably the hottest prospect in the UFC, Diego Lopez, and go in there with, 4 hours notice, maybe even less. Hats off to the guy. And you know what? He made it competitive. In my opinion, Dan Ige, stylistically, it was a tougher matchup than what Brian Ortega is because Dan Ige is so well-rounded. Also, Dan Ige, in my opinion, was coming on strong in the 3rd round. If there was another 2 rounds there, I think Dan Ige might have took it. If I'm being honest, I think Dan Ige might have found a way to finish Diego Lopez. Diego Lopez was gassing, but I mean, it's been a shit build-up for Diego Lopez as well. I mean, the guy was supposed to fight at 145, didn't happen. Was supposed to fight at 155, didn't happen. Then had to fight at a catchweight of 165 against a completely different opponent. Not even like a week's notice. Literally 4 hours notice. But yeah, fair play to Diego Lopez. Shit one for him though, because I do think he would have beat Brian Ortega, and obviously that would have got him, 3rd ranked in the featherweight division. He beat Dan Ige, who's number 13th ranked. Shitty for Diego Lopez, so hopefully they can get that Ortega fight rescheduled for the Sphere and on to the main event. What the, like, who beats this guy light heavyweight? Honestly, no one beats Alex Pereira. at light heavyweight. Honestly, Alex Pereira, you could argue he is top 10 of all time. In 13 fights, this guy is a top 10 UFC fighter of all time. Now, I'd picked Yuri to win. I thought Yuri's unorthodox style would have offered Alex Pereira a lot of problems in there. In fact, it was the opposite. It helped Alex Pereira because of how many openings Yuri Prochazka leaves. The first round, not much really happened. A lot of leg kicks really from Alex Pereira. Yuri did initiate a clinch, but didn't really get anything off from it. And then literally, as the bell went, Pereira cracked Yuri with a left hook, sending Yuri down. At that point, Yuri was calling him to the mat, even though that the round had just finished. At that point, Yuri had no idea where he was. Yuri is known for having pretty decent recovery though. However, when the second round started, the guy was just a sitting duck, and Alex Pereira was able to time a perfect switch left high kick. At that point, when that landed, you could have arguably stopped it. A lot of people are saying about the late stoppage, but because the last fight people were saying it was an early stoppage, they probably wanted to let this one go. Plus, Yuri does have incredible recovery powers. But yeah, Alex Pereira just swarmed on him and was able to get the finish over Yuri Prochazka in the second round to retain his light heavyweight title. I really don't know who beats this guy. Ankalaev definitely doesn't beat him. I know there's talks about him going to heavyweight, but I don't want to see him in heavyweight. Tom Aspinall definitely deserves that shot at the heavyweight title. But yeah, that's my opinion on UFC 303. Overall, maybe give the card like 4 out of 10. It was pretty dank, to be honest. But yeah, like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. And I'll see you again in the next one.